Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today we're discussing about Russia being disconnected from the SWIFT network, one of the largest global payment systems there is out there. The European Union, the Western world, has disconnected Russia. This is definitely a political move, but this is also a massive economical move. Just as always, it always follows politics. And right now, all we know is there's a war. We don't know why. We don't know what's exactly going on. We will find out. We know that history is being made, but we also don't fully comprehend what the strategies are going forwards. Sure, there is a war. There's many battles being fought, but why did Putin do this? What is his long-term goal? Is he going to stop with Kiev? Is he going to stop with Ukraine? Is he going to divide up the country? Are the Ukrainian people going to fight back? Is he going to go further into different countries? We have no idea what's going on. I'm not taking any sides. I'm staying neutral to this. I think both Ukraine and Russia are two beautiful countries. I remember not too long ago, 2 years ago, I was in Kiev. It's a little bit saddening to see everything being destroyed right now. I went to Chernobyl. All those guys got taken hostage. I mean, it's a crazy situation. Never in a million years would I have thought that this would have happened. And people still living in the city, even as early as 1 week ago, they had no idea. I mean, sure, there was talks of it, there was rumors, but people didn't actually expect a blitzkrieg situation to happen. Well, the outside community has been protesting like crazy. They've been demanding action from the European Union. And to be honest, I'm quite surprised. I'm not taking any sides, but I was quite surprised that the European Union didn't take action much more quicker. I mean, that's a common complaint we've been seeing, that, hey, this country kind of needs help. There's a massive war going on. And, I mean, you guys could do a little bit more than just, oh, here's some sanctions, and that's happened in the past before, and nothing really mattered. I mean, Crimea, this has been going on for years. Remember Crimea? There were some sanctions, and looks like Crimea is no longer a part of Ukraine. So now it's like, well, is Ukraine no longer going to be Ukraine? I mean, sanctions were placed, but things have been going a little bit slow, and a lot of people have been demanding that Russia be removed from the SWIFT payments network. This is going to affect the Russian people greatly. This is going to help tank their economy, and there have been massive sanctions now in place against Putin, against oligarchs, against massive Russian corporations, against pretty much anything except the energy sector, because they still don't want the energy sector to be affected, even though the prices of oil and everything has skyrocketed, because Russia has massive pipelines throughout Europe. It's a terrible geopolitical situation. You don't want to be on Russia's bad side, but I mean, with what's going on right now, it's like, what do you do? So a lot of these leaders decided not to do anything, or do something that didn't really have much effect. But with the situation worsening, I mean, your own political ratings are going down, and people are very upset. This is a extremely disturbing situation for both the Ukrainian and the Russian people. We don't know what's going to happen further. So let's talk about, because we're a crypto channel, we're a personal finance channel, we talk about economies. What is this going to do to Russia? This is a massive move. Why is that? What is the SWIFT network? A lot of people may not know. Well, before we get into cryptocurrency, we're talking about fiat currency. And yes, Russia got into crypto. So what is SWIFT? It is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, and it came out back in 1973. Without this, Russia is basically unable to connect to the outside world with other financial institutions. Right now, it's currently being used by over 11,000 financial institutions to send secure messages and payment orders globally. With no globally accepted alternative to SWIFT right now, essentially without it, Russian banks can only operate within the nation. There might be a couple options for operating internationally, but nothing will come close to SWIFT. So being partially cut off by SWIFT right now, and if the war continues to go on in a direction that the West doesn't like, sanctions will be increased, which the ruble will continue to decrease in price. Inflation's going up. The Russian stock market has plunged, while even though global markets plunged not too long ago when it started, the American stock market is beginning to rebound again. And a lot of the top Russian companies such as Gazprom, Sberbank, Rosneft, and others are definitely in the negatives, in the double double-digit negatives. So the MOEX is not doing too shabby right now. It basically plunged to fresh lows that are historical. You haven't seen such plunges in recent history, and this is actually the fifth worst plunge for Russia in equity market history. So this was considered back in 2014 with Crimea, but Russia responded that doing so would be an act of war. So Western powers backed down. But now, with war actually going on, Russian banks have been partially reduced from using SWIFT. By this I mean that select Russian banks are no longer in the system. There are some that are still able to participate, but again, if the war continues, all Russian banks will be out of the international system. And right now, the reason it's partial, they were partial because the West still relies on energy sources. But again, this can go in a variety of ways. One of those can completely decimate the Russian economy. In addition to that, around $600 billion in a Russian central bank reserves has been restricted, and this is most likely going to cause the ruble values to decrease and inflation to increase drastically over the coming weeks. Basically, these are some of the harshest sanctions on any country in modern times, and were meant to basically hold Russia accountable. Now, if they're not able to fund themselves, excluding Russia from SWIFT would shrink its economy by around 5%. A former finance minister estimated, and this was back in 2014. So SWIFT is currently based in Belgium, obviously. The EU and the US are big users of that. And one of the consequences is, especially with America, one of the top users for SWIFT transactions between America and the European Central Bank, well, it's Russia. So there are going to be some consequences. However, with everything going on right now, America and Germany have the most to lose if disconnected, but also if they don't disconnect, there's going to be some political turmoil with everything. SWIFT came out with a statement. They said, "We are a neutral global cooperative set up and operated for the collective benefit of the community. Any decision to impose sanctions on countries or individual entities rests solely with the competent government bodies and applicable legislators." Now, this is something that's happened to other countries in the past before, such as Iran in 2012. They were sanctioned by the European Union over its nuclear program. They lost almost half of its oil exports and 30% of foreign trade. Now, Russia has created some countermeasures. They have their own system. It's called SPFS, and this came about after Western sanctions back in 2014 related to Crimea. They work, but they're not as good as SWIFT. And they only work in certain hours where SWIFT is 24/7. They're not appealing alternatives, and there's only 400 users, one of which is Russia's central banking system. So 20% of domestic transfers are currently done through SPFS, but it's not as quick. It's not in the same time frame as SWIFT, and the size of the messages are limited, and operations are limited as well. So with that, this could be a pretty powerful move against Russia. Thanks so much for watching today's video, folks. If you enjoyed it, I greatly would appreciate you subscribing to the channel, leaving a like, commenting. I try and engage as much as I can, which I know I haven't been really doing a lot of lately, but I've been staying a lot of overtime at work as of late, so just absolutely destroyed. As you've seen in some videos, I'm absolutely exhausted when I come home, but we try and woo, we got out a little early today, so that's the most important thing. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow. As always, enjoy your weekend. Peace. See ya. All right, massive news. Let me know what you think about this. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.